We are coming to you live from our studios at the Subway Kanda. We're also streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. My name is Safwa Boyne. Now coming up this morning, President Mahama forms 8-member committee chaired by former Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor George K.T. Odro, to plan National Education Forum. Latest public opinion survey shows 90% of Ghanaians saying they are satisfied with the quality of President John Mahama's appointment so far. Also, constituents of Ablekuma North expressed concern over their non-representation in Parliament following the disputed December 7 election. Many thanks for joining us this morning. Let's settle for the details now. President John Dramani Mahama has appointed an 8-member committee to organize the National Education Forum. This was part of his manifesto promise during the 2024 electioneering campaign. A statement signed by acting spokesperson to the president, Felix Kwachiofosu, said the committee has 2 weeks to submit its reports and plan. Now, we'll be sharing with you, or as you can see on the screen, the members for the National Education Forum Committee. We have the chair in the person of Professor George K.T. Odro, who is a former Pro-Vice-Chancellor, University of Cape Coast. And we also have Professor Goski Alabi, who is a member. We have Professor Rosemary Bosu, who is also a member. Samuel Ewuku, who is also a member. We have Professor Smell DC, who is also a member. And Kofi Asare, a member as well. We have Stephen Owusu, a member, Inusa Shiraz, who is also a member. So we would briefly take you through the terms of reference, the TOR of the committee. And the first one is to develop a theme and sub-themes to guide the stakeholder engagement. The second is identify key stakeholders in the education sector to be invited as participants, and also develop a stakeholder activity agenda with time allocations. And we also have propose a venue and dates for the forum, and set up a secretariat to document activities and also to provide a budget for the National Education Forum. On the 7th, we have develop a comprehensive report detailing the findings and recommendations of the forum, and also to draft a national education policy framework and propose an action plan for implementing recommendations within 3 weeks after the forum. And the 9th one we have is to consider any other issue relevant to the organization of the forum. So these are the TOR for the committee, and they will be working on that as soon as possible. Let's do some more stories now, where tensions continue to rise in Ablekuma North following the contested parliamentary election on December 7, 2024, with irregularities, accusations of fraud, and heated debates surrounding the results. The constituency's representation remains uncertain almost 2 months after the polls. Joseph Gold Armstrong Alogbe brings us the latest on this developing story.
On December 7, 2024, the electorates of Ablekuma North went to the polls hoping to decide on their next parliamentary representative. But what followed was a tense and uncertain race fraught with drama, controversy, and confusion. As the day unfolded, the process seemed smooth. The long lines of voters eager to make their voices heard, and the election officials working tirelessly to ensure the polls ran fairly. But beneath the surface, there was an undercurrent of suspicion and uncertainty. By the evening of December 7, the first results began to trickle in. Preliminary reports from few of the polling stations suggested a tight race. Pressure mounted on the returning officer, Vincent Obeng, to declare the election results as supporters from both the NPP and the NDC watched closely.
NPP had 27,170. Had 28,151. On that note, I declare Eura Abna as the MP selected.
the NDC took to the streets in jubilation as their parliamentary candidate, Irabnan Obin, was declared the winner. A day after, the Electoral Commission overruled the declaration, citing irregularities. This led to tension in the constituency and eventually at the regional electoral office, where a recount exercise was expected to take place. More shocking was the burning of ballot papers and pink sheets at the Kwashiman cluster of schools. As the hours passed, the coalition process began to raise alarm. There were growing reports of missing pink sheets and delays in the transmission of results from certain polling stations. With heavy security, the Electoral Commission continued to collate the results. By mid-December through to January 6, 2025, the political fallout began. Parties were trading accusations. The Electoral Commission faced mounting pressure to address claims of fraud. Then came another twist. Presiding officers suspected some of the pink sheets had been tampered with. NPP members of parliament waded into the controversy, attempting to halt parliamentary proceedings and demanding an end to the challenges in Ablekuma North.
The people of Ablekuma need a representation, and government must take steps in ensuring that the Electoral Commission declares.
Ablekuma North parliamentary seat still hangs in the balance nearly 2 months after the general election.
The fact is that as I stand here, I don't have any document to continue. And both parties are also not having.
I believe that NPP will win because this constituency is NPP stronghold. Irablan have won. We all know.
Dr. Sribo has been providing some answers.
It is the return officer who declares results. So the last time we were left with about 3. By all means, we'll go back to the coalition center again for the return officer to take decisions on them.
In Ablekuma North, the struggle for parliamentary representation is far from over. Many have suggested the Electoral Commission at least rerun 3 of the polling station election to end this back and forth. However, the buck stops with the returning officer, Vincent Obin, to make the final determination. Joseph Armstrong, Good TV3, Accra.
Well, the declaration of the result for Ablekuma North constituency has been long overdue, but our team are always on the ground and we'll definitely bring you more updates on that. But moving away from that, the first national poll conducted by Global Info Analytics since the December 2024 elections shows a majority of Ghanaians who believe the country is headed in the right direction.
According to the poll, 70% of Ghanaians believe the country is headed in the right direction compared to 22% recorded a year ago. The poll revealed that 90% of those surveyed indicated they are satisfied with the quality of appointees of President Mahama, while 68% indicated they are very satisfied or extremely satisfied. On the performance of the chairman of the committee, Bernard Ahiafo, 50% of respondents say they are satisfied with his performance, while 44% are dissatisfied, with 19% saying they are not satisfied at all with his performance. The poll further revealed that when it comes to the performance of the ranking member and the minority leader, Alexander Afeomakin, only 8% say they are extremely satisfied with his performance. 64% of respondents said they are not satisfied with Afeomakin's performance, with 44% saying they are not satisfied at all with his performance. On the question of whether respondents agree with the assertion that the vetting is being used to score points rather than to assess the suitability and competence of the nominees, the poll showed 77% of respondents agreed, while 17% disagreed and 6% did not have any opinion.
Acting Chief Executive Officer, of the Ghana Shapers Authority, Professor Ransford Jampo, has welcomed the suspension of 4 members of Parliament by the Speaker over recent chaos at the Appointments Committee. He spoke with Kemini Amona on Hot Edition.
I think that maybe what happened the last time in the 8th Parliament, maybe there were no sanctions. We just brushed it aside as a people. And so that's how come then some people will do this. But I'm happy to note that I'm told Speaker Bagbin has cracked a certain whip, suspending some people. And I believe, you see, when Bagbin was elected, I felt that it was a victory for parliamentary democracy. And I was surprised that people were even paranoid as to whether he was going to be elected. He had clearly acquitted and discharged his duty. So the point I'm making is that I am happy that he's taking some measures, cracked the whip, suspending some people. And I believe that going forward, given what has happened and the punishment that is being meted out to those who were found culpable, we would not continue on that tangent as Parliament. But clearly, it was unfortunate. These are honorable people who were supposed to, you could just disagree, you could just walk away and order. And you could even decide that, look, we are not leaving, but we are not allowing the process to go on. That will still be within. But to break chairs, look, at the students' front, previously, anytime students went on procession and demonstration, they broke chairs, they destroyed public property and all that. We have now been able to socialize them into accepting the fact that you can dissent, you can go on your procession, you can go on demonstration, whilst we leave public property intact. So if among the young students, they are now, or they have now appreciated the fact that they can express dissent, go on procession without destroying public property, then I find it difficult to understand why or how members of parliament, who are supposed to be honorable people, would be angry to the point of breaking chairs.
Still on Professor Ransford Jampo on hot issues, he has stated that he will remain neutral and will not shy away from criticizing the government when things go wrong. According to him, his appointment is not political, but rather one that allows him to exercise his patriotic duties in serving the country. Speaking on hot issues, he denied claims that his appointment is a reward for his criticism for the past NPP government.
I was not part of J4's government. I criticized them. I was not part of Atamel's government. I criticized him. I was not part of President Mahamad's government. I criticized him. I was not part of Akufo-Addo's government. I criticized him. I am part of this particular government, and by being asked to serve as the acting CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority. And I'm telling you that I would offer same criticism. This time, because of access, I'll give it to them directly. But where the access is blocked, you would hear me coming out publicly about it. I've told you. So I do not see why you are neutral. A government feels that you can do something and do it well. And they say, even though I have the knowledge, even though I have the competence, even though I have what it takes to help develop Ghana, because I'm neutral, I will not do it. You are a nation wrecker who is not worth your salt, and you must not have a place in the nation's governance process or in the nation's existence. If I have access to the president, if I have access to my minister, if I have access to people who are able to do XYZ to improve the lot of Ghanaians, and there are issues that I find wrong, the sensible thing to do is to speak to them directly, and I'll do so.
Which means you will not openly
let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
The sensible thing to do is to try to draw their attention and say, hey, this and this and this that you are doing are not right, and so address them. Okay? You would hear me coming out publicly, I've indicated, you hear me coming out publicly only when I feel that avenues for ventilating my concerns about what I think is wrong are blocked. And in the previous administration, they were one, blocked. Number two, you had some of their communicators coming in to tell you that, Prof. Jampo, it isn't that what you are saying is not true. It is true. But we have a president who does not like being told the right thing, especially coming from people outside of his government. Who can intimidate?
That was it on Hot Issues, which is always aired on Sundays, 4 p.m., 2 p.m., I beg your pardon. So you can always go back to our socials and watch on YouTube, on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. Now, moving away from Hot Issues and Professor Jampo, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has emphasized the need for collective support for women who take bold steps in their careers and personal lives. She made this known when the Alliance for Women in Media Africa paid a courtesy call on her.
The courtesy call by the Alliance for Women in Media Africa, an organization set up to support women in journalism and related media disciplines, was to congratulate the Vice President for making history as Ghana's first female Vice President. The convener of the group, Mercy Ajabin, highlighted some of the concerns facing women in media.
Safety risk and violence that women in journalism or media face, poor working conditions, gender-based discrimination, limited access to training and opportunities, online harassment and cyberbullying, lack of support and resources. These are broadly the issues that confront us. And we want to appeal to your person and your office that you would help us.
When circumstances come up that she needs input from the Alliance or individuals within the general media space and the media development space, we're committing to make ourselves and our resources, our people, available to support her office and ensure that her footprints in this office are ones that make history.
The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, emphasized the importance of collaboration among women to achieve their goals.
When we work together, we can make a lot of impact. So much we can do to influence policymakers, to look again at the problem, and to try to extend not just a helping hand, it's not charity, it's your work, and take that work seriously.
The Alliance for Women in Media Africa later presented a portrait to the Vice President, symbolizing their appreciation for her trailblazing achievements.
Let's take you back to the Verton on Friday, where the Minister-designate for Government Communications, Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, has assured lawmakers that he will not be an agent of misinformation. Appearing before the Appointments Committee of Parliament on Friday, January 31, he emphasized that all government communications will be coordinated under the Office of the President.
Under the new structure, all government communications will be coordinated by the Office of the President, with Felix Kwakye-Ofosu leading the initiative. Majority Leader Mahama Yariga questioned the Minister-designate for Government Communications, asking whether he would use his office as a propaganda tool.
Personally, I'm also a conviction politician. When I take positions, I consider them carefully. So once I take them, unless I'm shown verifiable evidence that I'm wrong, I stick to it. I'm not going to be an outlet for churning out disinformation or misinformation to deceive the people.
The majority leader then raised a question about why the president used his brother's private jet for his travels.
As Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, when he became president, one of the first things he did was to ask about the status of the Armed Forces. In the Air Force, there's a unit called the Communications Squadron, which handles presidential aircraft. One of the ways that the MPP sought to defend what we deem to be waste of taxpayers' money on rentals of expensive jets was that the presidential aircraft was not in good shape. I think it is fair that on assumption of office, the president seeks to find out the state of the aircraft. In the last week or so, he has received an update. And that is why in the recent travel to Angola, Tanzania, and Kenya, he used the presidential aircraft. But before then, the option left to him would have been to either rent a replacement aircraft or fly commercial. Both alternatives were going to cost us money. He decided that in the very recent past, during his campaign, his brother happened to have 2 aircrafts, which he made available to him to the extent that he needed to travel. He has been using it. So using it for a week more at no cost to the taxpayer was the best option.
Will it be treated in the records of the presidency as a gift?
I would have to receive specific briefing on how to, but I'm certain, beyond any doubt, that whatever obligations arise out of any classification that is given to it will be met by the president. I don't think he has any difficulty at all doing that. But it is safe to say that it was the most viable option at the time. To the extent that the aircraft was safe and did not endanger him in any way. It didn't cost us anything. I, as a Ghanaian, would prefer that arrangement to what President Akufo-Addo was doing, to be fair. But as for the classification, I'm sure that the president has a legal counsel, so I'm sure that she can help in determining the classification. But if it is classified and any obligation arises, the president will have no difficulty meeting it.
Felix Kwachiofosu reassured the committee of his unwavering commitment to truth and accountability, emphasizing that he would not be an agent of political propaganda or misinformation.
Away from the vets, and Sunyane West MP Millicent Yeboah-Mankwah is calling on all politicians and parliamentarians to support the government in providing access to financing for workers in the informal sector, using her constituency as an example. She explains that if these measures are formalized, workers in the informal sector can contribute more effectively to economic growth.
The informal sectors come across with the people like that of the market, the traders and transport operators, that is Pragya, Chocho, Mahama Kambu, people who actually are not in the formal sector. These people contribute much to the growth of the economy, but indirectly has no business registered, they don't have any documents, registered, and this go a long way to affect them because they have the zeal to work, to contribute, but they don't have access to financing. And if these processes are formally done and at their doorsteps, I believe that they will get the opportunity to help the economy. One of the major reasons why the good people of Ghana voted for the NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, that leads to majority in Parliament, is just measure is based on the policies which lead to the Women Development Bank and the assurance with the Maslot and the other 750 million Ghana cedis microcredit, loans that will be given to the people. And I believe in the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and I believe that in a very short time, these policies will be run. And I took this opportunity with a statement to encourage the members of Parliament that if such policies are on the table and decks of us, we should pay key attention to it.
Let's do some health-related stories now. And the cholera outbreak in Ablekuma West has devastated the community, claiming the lives of at least 3 people in the past month, including 2 young children. The children aged 8 and 6 died after suffering from severe vomiting and diarrhea, despite their mother rushing them to the hospital. In addition, a pregnant woman is battling the disease, fearing for the life of her unborn child. Godwin Asedeba investigates the reality on the ground.
Behind me, a patient is fighting for her life. Cholera is not a disease that belongs to 2025, yet here in Ablekuma West, it has stolen lives. The people here are not just suffering, they are dying for something as basic as good sanitation.
Fidelia Al-Hassan, not her real name, is pregnant and battling cholera.
I didn't know that it was cholera until I get here. I am pregnant, so I went to the ANC and they told me to go to the emergency first.
How many months pregnant are you?
Let's say 23 weeks. Because of work, so I normally buy fruits outside, so maybe it could be that one.
But she's not alone. The Ablekuma West municipality is in the grips of a deadly cholera outbreak. Over 250 suspected cases have been recorded in the past month, with 3 deaths. For Eunice Benyi, January 19, 2025 is a day she will never forget. Her sons, Emmanuel and Ebenezer, were full of life, but in just 24 hours, cholera took them both.
No, I'm pain, so no, I'm not personal on toilet.
My children both had diarrhea, and the little one was also vomiting. Just as we were about to sleep, one of them kept asking to urinate and had a severe running stomach. By morning, my eldest had passed away at home. We rushed the little one to the hospital unconscious, but the doctors couldn't find his veins to administer treatment. He too didn't survive.
Doctors at the Agona Swedro Municipal Hospital confirmed their deaths were caused by cholera. But the nightmare is not over. Eunice's last surviving child is also fighting the infection, and she's afraid she might lose him too, despite being treated and discharged from the hospital. Yvonne Benyi, who shares a compound with Eunice, says 5 children in their household, including her own, have contracted the disease.
My son had diarrhea and was vomiting, so I quickly rushed him to the government hospital where he was being treated.
Government hospital. I am heading to Nkum, a community about a 40-minute drive from Swedro in Agona West, where the cholera outbreak is also taking its toll. Access to potable water remains a major challenge here, with most residents relying on untreated stream water for survival.
This is just one of the main streams that connects at a point where residents here in Nkum would come and fetch water for their menial activities. Clearly, you can tell the water is unsafe, it is untreated, but this is what residents here in Nkum depend on for survival.
We drink this water. My parents use it for cooking and even take some to the farm to quench their thirst.
We use this for bathing, drinking and washing.
A heap of refuse sits dangerously close to the streams, while open defecation is rampant, further worsening the situation. This is a breeding ground for cholera, and the community is paying the price. 2 people have already died here, and more are falling sick by the day. Environmental health officer and member of the rapid response team working with the Ghana Health Service, Mark Jojoji, has been working tirelessly with his team to contain the outbreak.
We intensify our hygiene education activities. We go from churches to schools to public gathering places to educate them on the surge of the cholera.
The cholera outbreak has intensified fear among residents, but the Deputy Director of Public Health for the Central Region continues to implement measures to curb its spread.
Since the beginning of cases being suspected in Agona West District, the highest number we've had in a particular day was on the 4th of January 2025. That was 22. Averagely, we've been having sometimes 15, 7, 6, 5. So I would say that averagely we do like 7 or 8 cases per day. Currently, the past 3 days, the numbers have been encouraging, meaning that they are going down.
As of December 26, 2024, the cholera outbreak in parts of the country had claimed 37 lives, with confirmed cases rising from 346 to 359. The number of affected districts also increased from 44 to 46 as of December 24, 2024. Cases emerged in Agona East and La Nkwantanang Medina in the Greater Accra region, while hospitalizations have decreased from 64 to 48 within the reporting period. The Western region remains the hardest hit, with 37 people currently receiving treatment.
For years, authorities have promised improved sanitation, safer drinking water, and better health care. But those promises remain words on paper while people are buried in shallow graves. The people of Agona West are not asking for luxury. They are begging for survival, and if help does not come now, more will die tomorrow.
Godwin Asidiba, TV3.
And on this tragic note, we end the news bulletin. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Safa Bwahini. New Day continues right after this break. Do have a lovely day.